Welcome back, students. Now we discuss where we are left in our previous slide on measurements. Today, one more topic of discussion on measurements is uncertainty in measurements. See, to explain about the uncertainty, the word uncertainty means lack of certainty. For example, if I tell one student to measure the mass of beaker in the laboratory using the chemical balance, he may say it is around 19.9 gram. The actual value or the true value or the exact value what I know is 20 gram. But he expressed in what? 19.9 gram. Second time I told you do once again and tell me the mass of the beaker. He told it is 19.8 gram. Again I told him third time to measure once again. That time I told it is 19.97, sir. That means he is not getting the true value, 20 gram, but he is very close. All three are very close. And if I tell one more student to measure three times, if he says mass of beaker is 20.5, first case. Second time if he says 22 gram. Third time if he says 15.75, then he is far away from the true value. So this is not a correct measurement. Here also uncertainty is there. In the first case also uncertainty is there. But our uncertainty should be minimum. Lesser the amount of uncertainty, more we are accurate, more we are precise. Here I am using the two words, precise and the accurate. So we study about uncertainty in measurements. Measurements is a process of experimentally obtaining the value of a quantity. The quantity that we intend to measure is called measurand. For example, 20 gram is there, no? That is called measurand. The process is called what? Measurement. The aim of measurement is to obtain the true value of the measurand. See, the second statement is very important. Every effort is made to optimize the measurement procedure in such a way that the measured value is as close as possible to the true value. However, our measurement result will be just an estimate of the true value, and the actual true value will almost or always remain unknown to us. Therefore, we cannot know exactly how near our measured value is to the true value. Our estimate always has some uncertainty associated with it. That means what? During our measurement, we try our level best to go for the exact value. It is because of the mistake or the type of the device we are using, or it is due to some practical errors we commit during the measurement, we go wrong. Otherwise, but in some special cases where we launch satellites to the moon or the Mars, that time there is no chance for the uncertainty. It is 100% exactness. So whenever we go for the measurement in our laboratory to understand the knowledge, that time small element of uncertainty will always be there, and that we expect it. Okay, so there is no need to worry about the uncertainty. Okay, and this is called uncertainty in measurements. Okay. Now, whenever we commit a mistake in the measurement, which we know as a uncertainty, that part is called as what? Error. What is error? Error is the difference between the experimental value and the true value. For example, just now I have taken an example of the exact value of beaker is 20 gram, but the boy said it is 19.5. So 20 minus 19.5, that 0.5 is called as the error. So error equal to what? Experimental value minus actual value. Actual value is the correct value. Experimental value is the value measured in the laboratory. In this case, 19.5 is the experimental value. Actual value is what? It is 20 gram. So in terms of percentage, if you want to calculate for 20 gram, 19.5 is the measurement. For 100 gram, how much? So keeping this point in mind, we have made a formula: percentage of error equal to E minus A by A into 100. This is exactly what we calculate for the percentage of our marks. For 100 marks in chemistry, it is 99. That is called 99%. Or for aggregate, for out of 500, 495 is the total mass. For 100, how much? We will get what? Percentage. Like that, it is made in terms of percentage, known as the percentage of error. Okay, students, now we will discuss on accuracy and the precision. Accuracy is the measure of how close a measurement comes to the actual or true value, whereas precision is a measure of how close a series of measurements are to one another. This beautiful figure will explain the difference between accuracy and the precision. If I tell 4 boys to hit the target, now let us take the case of first case, where the targets are not on the at the center, on the different rings. Okay, whereas in the second case, all targets are, second case is to the right side. All the targets are there at a particular point. Okay, whereas in the third case, left below. Now the targets are very close to the central that point where we want to target it. Whereas in the fourth case, all are very close. What do we conclude from the diagram? First case, first diagram. It is low accuracy, low. That means this boy or this student is neither accurate nor precise. All his targets are different. Whereas in the second case, right topmost, this second boy is low in accuracy, but he is precise. How precise? All his targets are at a particular point. You see the definition. Precision is a measure of how close a series of measurements. So, though he is wrong to the true value, but his all values are on one particular point. For example, if a boy measures 3 times the mass of the beaker equal to 19.9, 19.8, 19.7 grams, so all three are very close. So he is called as a precise, these are called precise values. And the boy is a precise in the measurement. Now you can see the third diagram, that is left below. This student is called as what? He is high accurate. He is a very accurate boy, but low in precision. Why? Though he is close to the central mark of the target, but all the points are in different directions. So he lacks in precision. Though he is correct, though he is accurate, but he lacks in the precision. For example, if he measures the mass of the beaker as 19.9, 20.1, 19.95. So this reading is called what? He is accurate, but he is not precise because all the 3 readings are not close. That's why he is lacking in precision. So he is called as a high accuracy and low precision example. Whereas the fourth one, all readings, all the targets are at the center. That means what? He is both accurate and the precise. For example, by taking the example of a beaker, 19.9, 19.91, 19.92, all 3 readings are very close. All 3 readings are close to the actual value. So he is both accurate as well as precise. That's why he is called as accurate and the precise boy. And this example also explains about the high accuracy and the high precision. Now, after knowing what is accuracy and what is precision. These two we use in the our science during the measurements under the topic known as significant figures. See, for every measurement will have a certain amount of uncertainty. We have discussed in the previous slide. But uncertainty, I told it should be minimum. For example, 0.01 or 0.00. The lesser the uncertainty, the more we are accurate. So, in every measured value, we have certain digits and we have small limit of uncertainty. For example, in the case of the beaker, if a student says the mass of the beaker is 12.99, but if the actual value is 13.00, he is very close. 12.9 is very close. Out of 12.99, 12 is certain, 9 is certain, 0.9 is certain, but that 0.0, that last fourth digit, 9, that is not certain because somebody will say it is 12.98, somebody will say 12.97. So 12.9 is certain. The element of doubt, element of uncertainty is where it is the last one, it's uncertain. So uncertain and the certain together, it is called as what? Significant figures. Study what is significant figures and what are the rules in writing the significant figures. The digits that carry meaning in a number and contribute to its precision is known as what? Significant figures. Or in another way, it is defined as significant figures of a number or digits which contribute to the precision of that number. Numbers that do not contribute any precision and should not be counted as a significant number are leading or trailing zeros, digits that are introduced by calculations that give the number more precision than the original data allows. So, the more clarification we get when you study the rules for significant figures. Okay. Rule number 1. All non-zero digits are considered significant. For example, 91 has two significant figures because they are certain. If I say mass of the beaker is 19 gram, 199, both are significant, both are certain. Therefore, they are significant figures, significant digits. Therefore, the first rule says that all non-zero digits are considered significant. Second rule, zeros appearing between two non-zero digits are significant. They are called as trapped zeros. For example, 101.12. The zero between the 1 and 0 is significant. Therefore, in this number 101.12, we have 5 significant figures. They are 1, 0, 1, 1, and 2. The third rule says that leading zeros are not significant. For example, 0.00052 has only two significant figures, 5 and 2. Why? Because here these zeros will just tell about the importance of decimal. For example, if I want to write 52 by 100 equal to what? 52 by 100 equal to 0.52. If I want to write 52 by 1000, I should use one extra zero, 0.052. So this zero will tell the importance of the 1000 or the 10 which is there in the denominator. So these zeros will not have any meaning. Therefore, it is just to tell the place of decimal we are using. Therefore, these zeros, that is, zeros before non-zero numbers are not significant. Rule number 4. Trailing zeros in a number without a decimal are generally not significant. For example, 400 has only one significant figure, 4. For this, we have to take the help of what? Scientific notation. 400 can be written as 4 into 10 to the power of 2. So here, 4 is very important. 10 to the power of 2, 10 to the power of 3, they are, we express in the scientific notation. So that 4, except the 10 to the power, whichever number is there, they are all significant. Next rule is trailing zeros in a number containing a decimal point are significant. Example is 12.2300 has six significant figures. Why those zeros are significant here? It depends upon the, see, during the measurement, what type of device we use. If the device is very calibrated, accurate, then we can measure the mass of the beaker up to 19.9999, depend upon the calibration of the that what balance. If we have the normal balance, then we can measure up to 18.99 or 19.90 or at the most 19.91. So it depends upon the accuracy of the balance also, and how we are accurate in measuring. Therefore, we say in the 12.2300, depend upon the type of the device, we say it is what is having 4 plus 2, 6 significant figures. The number 0.00012230, how many is here? I told in the previous discussion, the 0.000 will tell about the position of the decimal, so they are not significant. Only 1, 2, 2, 3, 0, 0 are significant. Therefore, this number has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 significant figures. Now, next rule, the number 0 has only one significant figure. Therefore, any zeros after decimal point are also significant. This is special rule for the 0. For example, 0 has only one significant figure. 0.0 has two significant figures. 0.00 has three significant figures. Why? Again, once again, I'll repeat, it depends upon the type of the instrument we are using. Now we'll go for the next rule. Any number in scientific notation are considered significant. For example, 4.300 into 10 to the power of minus 4 has a 4 significant figures. This I already told. Except 10 to the power of something, all are significant. Same rule is applicable here also. Okay, boys. We'll go to the calculation part of the significant figures. During addition, during subtraction, during multiplication, during dividing, how to follow the rules for significant figures or for the significant digits which are meaningful. In the case of addition and the subtraction, what you have to do? When adding or subtracting, round the answer to the least number of decimal places. For example, 1.457 plus 83.2, answer is 84.657. How to express in terms of with respect to significant figures? Out of the two which has got least significant figures, it is 83.23. That means our answer should be 3 up to 3 significant figures. So 84.657 is written or expressed as 84.7, which has 3 significant figures. The same rule for the subtraction also. 0.0367 minus 0.004322. If you minus, the answer is 0.032378. Out of two which has got least significant figures, the first one has what? First one has 3 significant figures. The second one has got 4 significant figures. Least is what? 3. Therefore, our answer should be for the 3 significant figures. So, what is our actual answer? Actual answer is 0.032378. But we have to express for the 3 significant figures, it is equal to approximately equal to what? 0.0324. Now, for multiplication and the division. When multiplying or dividing, round the answer to the least number of significant digits. Example, 4.36 into 0.00013. What is the answer? Answer is 0.00056668. Out of the two we are multiplying, which number has got least number of significant figures or the digits? It is the second one, 0.00013, where we have only 2 significant figures. That means our answer should be rounded to two significant figures. So 0.000566 is rounded to 0.00057, which has two significant figures are the least significant figures. Second example, 12.300 divided by 0.0230. Answer is 534.78261. Now, which has got least significant figures? It is first one has got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Second has got 3. That means our answer should be rounded to the three significant figures. Now, what is the answer? Answer is 534.78261. So if you have to round off our answer to the three significant figures. That is what 534 point something. After the point 7 is there, so it is rounded up to the 535. So the answer is what? Approximately equal to or rounded to the 535. So with this we shall continue in our next section. Thank you, Anita.